Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Talking Fitchburg on this Thursday, July 23rd, 2020. I'm Jeremy Crosby. Hope you had a wonderful day out there. Sun, it's peaked on and off all day today. And we're glad that you're tuning in and watching us here now as you wrap up your evening. Maybe you'll have time to get out for a bike ride. I've been doing that a lot at night. It's been so nice out, so why not? Hey, we got a very busy show for you today. We'll get you the latest headlines here in just a bit. Then we're going to check in with our Chief of Police, Chad Brecklin. He's here to give us a police update. Normally, we would do that tomorrow. We are still going to do that tomorrow, but tomorrow we're going to focus on talking about the police department in a whole. So we want to make sure we still got in the police update. So we have that today from Chief Brecklin coming up in the digest. And then we also have another new interview today. We're checking in with Tiffany at the Better Business Bureau. She's got some travel safety tips as you think about traveling anywhere this summer with COVID-19. We'll break that down for you, try to keep you safe. Most likely staying home is the safest, but if you're going to travel somewhere, we'll give you some of those details in just a minute. But first, we do pick up here as cases continue to be up and down. I saw a good graphic here about caring for someone who is sick in your home. This is a great breakdown of kind of what you can do. So ensure that the ill person rests, drinks plenty of fluids, and eats nutritious food. Wear a medical mask when in the same room where the ill person is. Do not touch the mask or face during your use and discard it afterwards. Frequently clean hands with soap and water or alcohol-based rub, especially after any type of contact with the ill person or their surroundings before, during, and after preparing food, before eating, and after using the toilet. Use dedicated dishes, cups, eating utensils, towels, and bed linens for the ill person. Wash dishes, cups, eating utensils, towels, or bed liners used by the ill person with soap and water. Identify frequently touched surfaces by the ill person and clean and disinfect them daily. And of course, call your health care facility immediately if the ill person worsens or experiences difficulty breathing. All great information there if you are caring for a loved one or whoever. And it's a good way to keep safe there as you're trying to protect yourself. What we've done here at our household, we've not had it, knock on wood, but we set up, we've got it breaking up where we've got a bathroom upstairs and one in the basement. And we've set up the one in the basement as our backup area that has the masks and cleaning stuff. So in case one of us does get sick, we can lock ourselves down in the basement area and keep ourselves protected against our family. So have that plan in mind. I think that's the best thing we can report to you today. Also planning for this, we've had a lot of heavy rains. We're a little bit above average for rainfall. So I wanted to take the time to talk to you why my kids get upset about floods. We're going to talk about protecting against floods as you're home ready for and prepared by making sure it's important that personal property safety is stored safely. Protecting critical documents by keeping them in a waterproof container and making digital copies is a very good idea, folks. And you can find out more tips by heading to readywisconsin.wi.gov to be informed. And Andrew is going through here the information that we're talking about. I like this. Raise your utility electronic panels, water heater above the base flooded elevation. Utilities are the number one reason that people file claims. And yeah, well, it makes sense because they're the most expensive things when it comes to replacing stuff in the basement. And keep a supply of sandbags, plywood, plastic sheathing, or other lumber to protect your home and valuables from flooding. And keep a sub pump in working order. Yeah, you should check that and make sure you get a battery backup for that if you haven't already. Great information there, though, on flood tips. All right, car thefts and break-ins continue to be up. We'll be talking about this with Chief Chad Brecklin here in just a minute. But from Dane County Sheriff's Office reporting, car thefts and break-ins of unlocked vehicles and homes in the county continue to plague Dane County. Dane County Sheriff's Office is reminding citizens to secure their belongings to protect themselves against these crimes of opportunity. Sheriff's Office has taken reports of 3 stolen vehicles in the last 24 hours. This came out yesterday, as well as numerous reports of unlocked vehicles being rifled through and for any items of value. Location of the stolen vehicles include Deerfield, the town of Bristol, and the town of Windsor. There are also numerous reports of thefts of auto in Deerfield morning of July 21st. Other law enforcement agencies throughout the county are also experiencing calls of this consistent basis. We know that it's been going on in Fitchburg as well. So please, please, please take the time to check your car and make sure it is good to go. And make sure you lock up your garage at night as well. Again, we'll be talking about these tips coming up here in a little bit with our Chief of Police, Chad Brecklin. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, we'll open up the digest. We have our Chief of Police here, Chad Brecklin. He'll give us an update of what's been going on at the police department next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Joined by our Chief of Police, Chad Brecklin. Chad, on the police update, we've seen a lot of car thefts across not only Fitchburg, but Dane County. We're seeing an increase in that. I know it's a broken record for you, but where are we at here on what's going on, and what are we doing here to, again, try to get the message out on stopping this from happening?
Yeah, the last 30 days or so have been has seen significant activity in the stolen automobile front, and I think my rough recollection of the numbers in the last 30 days or so is we're talking approximately 15 cars have been stolen in the city of Fitchburg alone. So it's a significant problem. We're still, clearly we're still following up on these cases and doing an investigation, holding people accountable for their behavior. However, as we've talked about, we have to take away as a community the crime of opportunity. We have to keep our cars locked wherever they are. We have to remove garage door openers in particular if you're not going to lock your car, because garage door openers are being used to open garage doors. If the garage door isn't closed, obviously it's an open invitation potentially for somebody to enter. Keys are being left in cars, in garages, they're being taken. And we're seeing there's been at least 2 or 3 reports in the last month or so of firearms having been stolen from cars that are unlocked. I mean, these are just behaviors that our community really needs to become ingrained. And we've talked about it for, since 2017, 2018. You need to lock your door from your garage into your home. We've had several instances in the last couple of weeks of people entering homes through an open garage door and then through an open door into the garage. Please, please, I can't stress enough, in order to avoid becoming a victim of a crime, take some crime prevention measures. We've used our social media platforms. We sent out an email through our Citizen Watch email distribution list last weekend. I encourage residents to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, go to the city website, sign up to receive in the Notify Me section, Citizen Watch emails. We don't send a lot of them because we don't want to flood your people's inbox and have them ignore those emails. So when we send one, we want to convey that there's activity happening and you can take some steps to prevent it potentially.
Yeah, I did see Dane County Sheriff's Office stepping up their enforcement, putting out a release this week as well as, and it's the same steps you and I have talked about many times over. I think it's getting a little bit more intense here when we're talking about the locking between the garage door and your home, how important that is. But we're one step away from a major incident here, aren't we? That's kind of where this is heading.
That's been a concern of mine and many other law enforcement professionals for at least a couple of years now, because the behavior continues to escalate, and the propensity for or potential for a confrontation between a homeowner and an intruder is significant. And at some point in time, you bring up a very good point that we're all concerned about, is it could go south or could go wrong very quickly, very easily. And we want to avoid those situations from all perspectives and all fronts. And, we've been doing all that we can do from the investigative side. We've been providing directed and extra patrols in every neighborhood throughout our city, not only for this auto theft problem, but other violent crime issues we're seeing with some of the weapons related calls. And the fact of the matter is as we talked about previously, Fitchburg is a big community with 35 square miles and many, many neighborhoods. And between call for service volume and the number of officers that we have on duty, we may not be able to be as visible as we would want to be in all of our neighborhoods or most of our neighborhoods, nor as visible as our citizens and residents would want. So we're also taking proactive steps that if we see a garage door that's open, an officer has been knocking on the door of the house to inform them that the garage door is open during the overnight hours and request that they close it to prevent being a victim. So we're looking at some additional strategies to get the word out. We may even go a more traditional route and, uh, request some community members to pass out some flyers to their neighbors. Just say, hey, this is happening. This is how you can prevent it. This is how you can stay informed. So we're trying to be as as open and as attentive as we possibly can be with what we have to work with.
Yeah, and I realize this is it's a tough, the biggest thing is outreach, and we got to find ways of finding that and making the change before it happens. Preventable crimes that if you take ownership of it, definitely can prevent this. And also the importance of reporting on this is important. And as we transition into the next piece of the update, we've also had a lot of shots fired incidences both in City Madison, but right here in the city of Fitchburg. Chad, why are we seeing the uptick in shots fired cases?
Well, if I had the answer to that, we'd be able to resolve them before they even happen. But clearly, in most cases, we're seeing that the people that are engaging in weapons violations, typically with firearms, is they are known to one another in one way, shape, or form, or they are acquainted. And I don't have an answer as to why they're using firearms during these disputes, because what we're seeing is a lot of unintended consequences. Again, last night we had a case on King James Way at Norfolk where shots were fired in the street and two separate residents were struck with gunfire. And both of those residents were occupied. And in fact, one of the residents, where the room that the round entered, had children in it. Over the weekend, we had a 19-year-old shot, I think twice, over, by somebody that they were meeting in a neighborhood that they had picked. And in addition to the person being shot, a house was struck with a round as well. Again, these houses aren't intended targets in these last two incidents. They are unintended consequences that could be very, very severe and are going to have a significant impact on our community if an innocent bystander is ultimately struck and killed. So again, we're doing what we can to try to get out ahead of it. When we have information and can act in a proactive manner, we're doing that. We're working cooperatively with other agencies, that have similar incidents happening and where there may be an overlap in people involved and jurisdictional overlap there. So we have resources on it. We're working collaboratively as we always do. And, we really really hope that nothing more significant happens than has already happened, and we've already had, people being shot and residences being struck.
Yeah, I think there again, the importance of reporting. If you've seen something, anything on any of these types of cases, report it. Certainly going to get help your staff figure what happened, and hopefully put a stop to some of this moving forward. Again, I know it's a tough scenario there, but appreciate you giving the update. Real quick here, and sorry to not leave you a lot of time on this one, but we did have the mask order go into place, and I just wanted to quickly get your comments on it. I know the police department put out a statement. We read that statement here on Talking Fitchburg right when it came out, but ultimately, where is your role in enforcement of the masks, the mandatory mask order by Public Health of Madison and Dane County?
Enforcement of the mask order is done through Public Health Madison, Dane County. They have a specific email address that complaints can be shared with them regarding mask enforcement. Our staff is not using the mask order to conduct any sorts of stops or any sorts of interventions based solely on people not wearing a mask. We do urge people to wear a mask. It does prevent the spread of COVID and can help keep everyone safe, but we are not actively involved in the enforcement side of it at all.
Yeah, I think that's good information to know. And yeah, you just check out the Public Health of Madison and Dane County for that information related to enforcement. And certainly you can always ask the officers, always ask, if you got any questions or anything to talk. Chad, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Stay safe out there.
Thank you.
Chad Brecklin there, Fitchburg Police Department, your chief of police, taking the time here to keep you up to date on what's going on.
We scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Gaining weight was easy. All I had to do was sit down and eat. Losing weight's a lot harder. I have to work at it every day. But with every step, I lower my risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And that makes every step, every choice, every day very much worth the effort.
Learn how you can help stop diabetes by losing weight, eating healthy, and staying active. Visit checkupamerica.org or call 1-800-DIABETES.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
You ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
Mm-hmm. With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today, our favorite person from the Better Business Bureau. It's Tiffany Schultz. Tiffany, how you doing today?
I'm great. How about you?
Doing wonderful because we're talking travel, which really seems like a difficult thing to even think about at this point during a COVID pandemic. But nevertheless, there still will be people who will travel. And if you're traveling today, you're going to help us stay protected as we consider whether to do the traveling and what are some of the safety tips around that. So as we put this all together, disclaimer here, Fact TV is not encouraging people to travel necessarily. We just want you to stay safe. And I'm sure from your standpoint too, Tiffany, you feel the same way. So set us up here. If you're even thinking about planning a trip, there's probably extra steps that you're going to need to take this year.
Right. It's not business as normal. It's not vacation as normal. There's some extra things that you need to take into consideration as you plan those summer trips, whether you're traveling throughout the state of Wisconsin or if you're planning a trip further away. Getting on an airplane, you want to make sure that you have taken these extra steps to keep yourself, your family safe once you get there, once you get home.
Well, let's start with the big one. Never travel if you're sick. It seems like common sense here, but if you've been sick or even think you're sick, do you really travel?
Right, and that goes for anybody in your party, not just yourself, but your entire family. If you're not feeling well, go ahead and cancel that trip, postpone that trip. There's a lot of operators out there that completely understand. They would rather have you cancel or postpone than possibly bring your germs into their establishment. So be extremely wary of how you're feeling, how your family's feeling before you get up and leave that morning and go on that trip.
Yeah, in some cases you might get trapped. Let's say you travel out of country and then you get sick. You might have a difficult time trying to get back here. So, and you might not have the medical needs or facilities that that you have right here at home. Face mask, big piece here. When should we use our face masks?
Always travel with one. When you're going to a public place, a lot of states, a lot of counties are starting to require one. You don't want to be caught without one. If you are going to the pool, take one with you to the pool. Not necessarily wearing it in the water, but make sure that you have it in places where you're going to need it, especially where you can't social distance, or if you're traveling to one of those communities or one of those states where they are absolutely required. And more states and communities are jumping on board. It's changing every day. So you want to make sure that you're prepared.
Absolutely. I would put extras in the vehicle if you can get your hands on them in case you forget it. And yeah, pack plenty of those. And also keep in mind that social distancing and face masks go together real well. So by doing that, you're decreasing the chance of actually getting sick. I've heard this one repeatedly, but packing your own food, water, and other materials is super important for travel right now.
Right. Just like the face masks are so important, packing your own food. Make sure that you have food and snacks, especially if you're traveling by car. There's a lot of places where they're only 25% capacity. You don't want to be in a situation where you maybe have to wait a few hours to dine. Some places still aren't open. You're going into uncharted territory. You don't know what to expect. Always great to have something on hand. Just in case. You don't want to be caught without it. Super easy to pack a bag of snacks on the airplane as well. So, like I said in the beginning, this isn't vacation as normal. You need to take some extra precautions.
Yeah, and this next one will fit that real well. If you're thinking about renting a car, RV, camper, that gets kind of interesting. I'm sure you want to do your research into these companies to find out what are their cleaning procedures, but what do you recommend here?
Take a container of sanitizing wipes with you. I've been watching for these things in the grocery store. I finally found some at the local Pick and Save disinfecting wipes. Super easy to throw in your suitcase, throw in the car. Make sure that you have them not only to wipe down your rentals, but wipe down your hands if you're staying in a hotel. You want to make sure that you're wiping down those door handles, those remotes, those high touch areas as well, just to be on the safe side. You don't want to get sick on your vacation and you don't want to bring anything back with you. So these containers of disinfecting wipes, super small, just carry it wherever you go.
Yeah, those have been coming back slowly here. So, check, and if you can get your hands on it, definitely get those. They work really well for cleaning surfaces. As we move into before leaving on your trip, I see some things here that you would normally do on a regular basis, but again, reaffirming here that before you leave the state, checking ahead on those regulations, as you had said, super important, as this is a changing day by day, sometimes hour by hour.
Right. Again, some of these states are requiring you to quarantine for 14 days when you get there, some of them 14 days when you get back. You want to make sure that you know the rules and regulations before you travel. If you're not comfortable with it, if you're getting to your destination and you have plans to go somewhere in that state and you're not able to do that, it may be wise to just postpone that trip. So be very wary about what's going on in the state or the states that you're traveling through as well. If you're taking a road trip, you're going to travel through quite a few states, and all of them are going to have different regulations and rules. So check those websites, be aware of where you're traveling. Just don't jump in the car and go like you would any other summer season.
Yeah, and the 14-day quarantine, you really got to check very carefully on that one, because that can lead to fines or other penalties. So be careful with that one for sure. Social media one, this is the one that I would point out that is one that even prior to COVID is something best practice here. But avoid posting things on social media while you're gone or heading out on a vacation.
We all like to share, and it's so easy to share on social media these days, and you want to share the good time that you're having with your friends and family back home. However, that's not the wisest thing to do. Scammers and criminals, they watch those things. If your settings aren't extremely private or somebody is sharing your post that you're gone, you have an empty home. That's means for possibly a burglary or theft when you get home. So you want to make sure that you've shared your photos after you get back. As hard as it is, it's one of the safe things to do. So be wary what you're sharing and who you're sharing it with.
Absolutely. All right. For more information on travel safety and more, Tiffany, where can they go to?
Check us out on bbb.org. If you're caught in a scam, bbb.org/scam tracker helps us warn others.
Yeah, please report it. That's super important on that. And yeah, definitely do take the time here before you head out. Tiffany, thank you so much. Stay safe out there, and we look forward to having you back soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, great information. And as Tiffany says, you really, really, really got to do the research here before you head out, as things do change here pretty frequently. And maybe just pack a designated cleaning kit at this point and just keep that in the vehicle as well. Just makes it just a lot easier, so you have everything at your fingertips. All right, we'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Hola, Julia. ¿Estás lista para tocar con nosotros? Yo tocaré mi clarinete.
Y Elmo tocará su tambor. Tambor ruidoso.
Bueno, ya sabes qué hacer, Julia.
Julia sabe.
Dado el autismo de Julia, los sonidos pueden ser muy fuertes.
Y hace música a su manera. ¡A tocar!
La detección temprana del autismo puede hacer una diferencia de por vida. Conoce más sobre la detección temprana en detecciondeautismo.org.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for today. I want to thank Chief Chad Brecklin for helping us out today, along with Tiffany at the Better Business Bureau. We appreciate both of their time and getting out the information. We, of course, love getting out safety information here on TF. All right, I need to wrap up the show because the kids, darn it, need my attention. So we're going to do this. Here is how you stay connected with Fact TV. Andrew loves when you tune in on Roku, Apple TV, and of course, don't forget Facebook and YouTube for following us. And always at the website, fitchburgwi.gov. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow for a TF Update.